Seek first the kingdom of God, and all these things will be added to you. You've heard it as a formula. Put God first and everything falls into place. Trust hard enough and life works out. But right before Jesus said that sentence, he was talking about something else entirely. Moths eating through fabric, a body full of darkness, two masters fighting for the same loyalty. This verse wasn't born in a vacuum. It was the answer to something else. And once you see the question, you'll never read it the same way again. This is one of the most quoted verses Jesus ever spoke, and one of the most isolated, pulled out of the middle of a much longer thought, printed as a standalone promise. But Jesus had already been building toward this moment for 14 verses. He doesn't arrive at "seek first the kingdom" out of nowhere. He arrives there because of exactly what he says right before it. It starts with treasure. Jesus says, don't store it up on earth. Moths ruin it. Rust corrodes it. Thieves take it. Store it up in heaven instead. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. That's not really a lesson about possessions, it's a diagnosis. Whatever you treasure, your heart follows, automatically, without permission. Then comes a strange image. Jesus talks about the eye, a healthy eye filling the body with light, a bad eye filling it with darkness. Whatever else is happening in those two verses, in this passage, the point is connected to what surrounds it. Where your eyes stay fixed shapes what ends up governing you. Keep looking at earthly security long enough, and it starts competing for the same place treasure already claimed. And then the sentence that should stop you. No man can serve two masters. Ye cannot serve God and mammon. Not shouldn't, cannot. Jesus places money in the exact seat reserved for God, a master demanding the same loyalty. Only after all of that does he turn to anxiety. Don't worry about your life, what you'll eat, what you'll wear. Look at the birds, look at the flowers. Treasure, attention, a rival master. And now, worry. Four subjects that suddenly aren't four subjects at all. They're the same struggle, seen from four sides. Something has to sit in that seat. The question Jesus is building toward is which one? Seek first. Two words everyone glides past. But what does first actually mean here? Not seek only. Jesus isn't telling anyone to stop eating, working, or planning. First means what claims that seat before anything else gets a turn. That's why the anxiety in verses 25 through 32 matters so much. These weren't people chasing something evil. Food, safety, provision for their children, those needs are real. The problem was never what they needed. It was what had quietly taken the seat while they weren't looking. Worry doesn't announce itself as a master, it just starts running the decisions. So seek first the kingdom was never a scheduling instruction. Squeeze in some prayer before the day starts. It's a question Jesus is asking underneath the anxiety itself. When the need is real and the fear is real, what do you reach for first? He's not telling anxious people to simply feel less afraid. He's telling them to put something greater in the seat the fear had been occupying. Now the phrase everyone remembers, all these things will be added to you. Taken alone, it sounds like a blank check. Seek God or receive whatever you want. But Jesus had already defined these things 6 verses earlier. Food, drink, clothing, whether there's enough for tomorrow. That's the whole promise. Not wealth, not comfort, not the removal of hardship. Jesus never says any of that here, and reading it into the text asks the verse to do something it never offered. What he actually promises stays exactly inside what he already named. The Father who feeds birds that never planted a single seed already knows what you need. That's not prosperity theology, it's the opposite of it. And it's not a call to stop working, saving, or planning either. Jesus isn't against responsibility. He's warning against something more specific, letting the pursuit of security become the master running your life, instead of a father you actually trust. And this is where most teaching on this verse simply stops, right after "these things will be added to you." But Jesus wasn't finished. Take therefore no thought for the morrow. For the morrow shall take thought for the things of itself. Sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof. He doesn't end on stop worrying. That would leave people holding an empty command with nothing to put in its place. Try harder to feel calm. Instead, he gives the anxiety a replacement. Seek the kingdom instead of tomorrow. Trust the Father instead of the outcome. Live inside today, obedient today, instead of dragging a future that hasn't happened yet into a day that has enough of its own. That's the whole passage compressed into one sentence. Jesus never simply told anxious people to calm down. He gave them somewhere else to stand. Here's what has to be said clearly. You do not seek the kingdom to convince the Father to care about you. Look at the order again. He already knows what you need before Jesus ever says seek first. His care was never something you had to earn by seeking hard enough. So what does the seeking actually do? It answers the real questions sitting underneath the treasure, the eye, the two masters, the anxiety, the fear of tomorrow. Who is actually running your life? Seeking the kingdom means trusting a Father who already knows, instead of letting anxiety, money, or tomorrow sit in the seat that trust was always meant to hold. 3 things straight out of this passage. First, notice what your mind runs to first when you're afraid. Jesus said treasure reveals the heart. Anxiety does the same thing. What you reach for under pressure usually tells you the truth about what actually sits in that seat. Second, bring tomorrow back into today. Verse 34 isn't permission to stop planning. It's a refusal to let a day that hasn't happened control the one that has. Handle today's obedience. Leave tomorrow exactly where Jesus left it. Third, let your decisions answer the question, not your words. Not do I believe God comes first, but does what I did this week actually show it? Jesus measured this by treasure and loyalty, not sentiment. You've heard this verse as a promise that God will give you what you need, but Jesus was saying something much deeper than that. It's Jesus meeting people exactly where they live, divided between two masters, anxious about a tomorrow that hadn't arrived, fixing their eyes and their treasure on things that rust and moths could reach, and giving them somewhere solid to finally put their trust. The kingdom doesn't come first because seeking it earns you the Father's care. It comes first because the Father already knows what you need. You were never meant to carry tomorrow. You were only ever asked to seek Him today. What's one thing you're carrying right now that was never actually yours to hold?